Meet Ryan and Emma, two souls walking different paths, unknowingly headed toward the same destination. They met on a rainy Thursday afternoon at a local coffee shop, the kind of place where the lights are warm, the air smells like cinnamon, and the music hums softly in the background. They had both been burned before. Ryan had just come out of a long relationship where he gave more than he received. Emma had learned to keep her heart guarded after too many promises were broken. Neither of them was looking for love that day, just a place to be, to exist without pressure. But fate had other plans. Their conversation started awkwardly. A nervous smile, a few casual questions. But soon, laughter began to fill the space between them. Not forced, not fake, real laughter. The kind that bubbles up from your chest and surprises you. They found themselves leaning in, sharing stories that hadn't been told in years. "I haven't laughed like this in a long time," Emma said softly, her eyes reflecting something deeper. Ryan smiled. "Me neither." For the first time in a long time, they felt seen. Not judged, not compared, just accepted. They weren't perfect, far from it. Ryan was overthinking, always trying to plan 10 steps ahead. Emma was impulsive, chasing moments even when she didn't know where they'd lead. But somehow, their imperfections fit together like puzzle pieces. He calmed her chaos. She woke him up from his routine. Late-night texts turned into evening walks. Walks turned into long drives. Long drives turned into holding hands under starlit skies. And soon sunrise promises whispered over cups of coffee. They were building something fragile but real. "Let's not rush this," Ryan said one night, his voice steady. "No," Emma replied. "Let's build it slowly, brick by brick." For a while, everything felt perfect. But as with every great story, there came a plot twist. Life got busy. Responsibilities crept in. The long conversations became shorter. The texts became routine. The passion turned into silence. At first, they didn't notice. A missed call here, a postponed date there. But over time, the distance grew. One evening, Ryan sat across from Emma at dinner. The candles flickered between them, but something had changed. They were physically present, but emotionally distant. "You okay?" she asked, sensing his quiet mood. "Just tired," he replied, forcing a smile. But it wasn't just tiredness. It was fear. Fear of losing something that mattered. Emma felt it too. The anxiety. The doubt. She wondered if maybe this was another chapter that would end before it truly began. Misunderstandings began to pile up. "Why didn't you call?" "I thought you needed space. You don't listen to me anymore. Maybe you don't care like I do." The arguments weren't loud, but they were heavy. And the silence that followed was even louder. It hurt, deeply, because it still mattered. They were standing at a crossroads. Walk away quietly like so many do, or choose to fight for what they believed in. One night, after days of distance, Ryan showed up at Emma's door, soaked from the rain. "Can we talk?" he asked, his voice raw. She hesitated, but then she stepped aside and let him in. They sat in silence for a moment. "I don't want to lose this," he finally said. "I don't want to lose us." Emma's eyes filled with tears. "Then let's stop pretending we're okay when we're not. Let's talk. Let's be honest again." And so they talked, for hours, about fears, about expectations, about love. They realized something profound. Real love isn't always fireworks and butterflies. Sometimes it's about showing up when it's hard, listening when it hurts, forgiving when it's easier to walk away. "Love isn't a feeling that happens to us," Ryan said. "It's a choice we make, every single day." Emma nodded. "Then let's choose each other, even when it's messy." From that night on, things didn't magically become perfect, but they became intentional. They started doing little things again, leaving notes, holding hands, saying "I'm sorry" when needed, saying "I love you" even when it felt vulnerable. And most importantly, They stayed. They stayed through the storms, through the uncomfortable silences, through the doubts, through the healing. Because love is not about the absence of problems. It's about facing them, together. They found that the strength of their love wasn't in the easy days. It was in the days they almost gave up, but didn't. Now, they look back on that first coffee date and smile. Not because it was perfect, but because it was the beginning of something real. So when you ask, will love conquer all? Maybe not every time. But for Ryan and Emma, love wasn't about conquering. It was about continuing, choosing, trying. Their journey is far from over, but they're still walking it, hand in hand. I want you to know that real love survives the storm. Not just the sunny days, not just the easy chapters, but the dark, messy, uncertain moments too. Because real love isn't proven when everything is going right. It's proven when everything is falling apart, and someone still chooses to stay. Real love doesn't run away when the winds blow hard. It doesn't vanish when communication breaks, when tears fall, or when things feel confusing. It holds on, it listens, it forgives. It says, I'm still here, even when it's easier to walk away. Because storms will come, that's life. There will be miscommunication. There will be moments of doubt. There will be silence, distance, and even hurt. But real love fights through it. It's not always pretty. Sometimes it's quiet, sometimes it's loud. Sometimes it means taking space, and sometimes it means holding tighter. But it never stops caring. You see, real love isn't perfect. It's patient. It doesn't expect you to be flawless. It just asks you to be present, to be honest, to try. And when the storm passes, because it will pass, real love doesn't look the same as before. It's deeper, stronger, wiser. The people who survive the storm together, they carry a bond that weather can't break. They know each other in a way no one else does, because they've seen each other at their most human, and they chose to love anyway. So if you're going through something right now, if your relationship feels heavy, if you're questioning everything, hold on a little longer. Ask yourself, is this worth fighting for? Because if it's real, it's worth the fight. It's worth the difficult conversations. It's worth the forgiveness. It's worth the growth. I want you to know, real love doesn't leave when it gets hard. It doesn't throw in the towel at the first sign of struggle. It stands in the storm, hand in hand, and says, let's figure this out together. And sometimes love means letting go of pride, admitting when you're wrong, being willing to understand instead of always being understood. Real love isn't built in one moment. It's built of thousands of small ones. In showing up when it's inconvenient. In saying I'm sorry when it's uncomfortable. In choosing each other again and again even when it's not easy. So, if you've been through storms, and your heart is tired, if you've ever loved someone through hard times, or if you're still holding on to love that feels a little bruised, I see you, and I want you to know something powerful. Real love doesn't break in the storm. It becomes unbreakable. Stay strong. Speak truth. Choose love, not just in the sunshine, but especially in the rain. Because the ones who stay through the storm, they're the ones who build something that lasts forever.